So for most beginners, it feels completely impossible to get into high ticket sales until they learn this one thing I'm gonna explain to you in this video. When I understood this, my high ticket sales journey took off rapidly. I went from zero to making my first 10K per month in 3 months without any previous experience as a complete beginner. And in this video, I want to explain to you exactly how you can do the same thing by understanding one very simple concept that most people overlook when trying to get into high ticket sales. And to explain this to you, you first need to understand what is even sales? What is even high ticket sales about in the first place? Most people are trying to get into this industry without even realizing that high ticket sales is not traditional sales. It's not about sitting in an office and cold calling people and forcing people to buy. That type of sales is dead. High ticket sales, what it is simply a transfer of certainty. The best high ticket closers, the best people in this industry, they're simply very, very convicted. They have confidence and they have internal certainty. That is what matters, because here's the thing, what high ticket sales is leadership. You're not convincing someone who doesn't know what the product or what the offer is to buy. You're talking to people that already know the influence that you're selling for. They already know the product. They already have a problem that they need someone who can help them solve. They're coming on a call with you and they simply just need someone who can walk them through what the solution actually looks like, ask them proper questions, and then show up with certainty, lead them through making that decision. That is it. Which means that in order for you to succeed in this industry and for you to see quick success, going from 0 to 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K per month quickly, you need to be certain. The reason why most people fail in this industry is not because they don't have the right training or the right scripts to follow. It's because you haven't become the person yet who's gonna see success in this industry. The reason why I saw quick success, went from 0 to 10K in 3 months, was not by some magical script or some magical offer. It's because I was certain. I was showing up with confidence into my calls and I was transferring that certainty over to the prospects. That is what I love about high ticket sales. This is not some pushy sales. A lot of people think that sales is just pushing people to buy and forcing people to gain stuff that they might not want to do, and it's these kind of car sales, super pushy type of stuff. That's not what this is. It's leadership based. Understanding human psychology, understanding where someone is at, what their problem is, figuring out what the gap is between where they're at, where they want to be, where the prospect's current situation and their desired situation, what the gap actually looks like. And then you need to have the leadership, the certainty to transfer over to that person that you believe in the product. You have the right mindset to lead this person to make a good decision. And that's when you will make sales. That's when sales becomes effortless, Lately, my calls are very, very short. I take calls for 20 to 40 minutes. I close this very quickly, very efficiently. 5K, 10K deals. Because I've learned how to lead people properly and how to understand human psychology at the highest level. This is how you will see quick success. And this is the cheat code that some people apply that makes them see so much fast success than others. So how do you actually develop this? How can you as a beginner get this certainty to land roles easier, see quicker success in those roles, close more deals, and it's overall make more money in this industry? It's simple. It's by holding your promises to yourself. The reason why you lack certainty right now, why you cannot lead other people, why you cannot show up in your outreach, reaching out to businesses, why no one believes in you when you come on interviews, why you're struggling overall to sell in general. It's simple, because you don't have that certainty in yourself, because you're constantly breaking promises yourself. One of the biggest gains that you will see in high ticket sales and in your own confidence as a man is by simply holding your promises to yourself. When you say you're gonna wake up at a certain time, when you say you're gonna work out X amount of time next week, or eat a certain diet, or do a certain amount of role playing, for example, and practicing your sales skills or outreach. When you break that promise to yourself, you're unconsciously telling yourself you're not capable of holding promises yourself, that you're lying to yourself. That is completely nuking. It's destroying your confidence and destroying your conviction in yourself, making it so that when you show up to a sales call or a role play or on an interview, that is shown in how you speak. You communicate in a more weak way. You don't seem as trustworthy. People don't buy into you as much, and that's why you're trying to land roles. This is the one thing, when you fix this, everything else falls into place. Everything else becomes easy. The reason why I saw quick success, I was able to land extremely good roles very quickly and get good in those roles and actually start closing deals. It was because I had conviction, because my life was dialed in. I had my habits in place. I had my entire life in check. And because of that, I could show up to calls and I was speaking like the new version of myself that I was building. I was speaking like the 10K per month version of Alex before I even got there. I could lead people at a high level. When I talked to someone who was scared to change their life, I could call them out. This is how you achieve quick success in high ticket sales, because high ticket sales is not pushy sales tactics, it's leading other people. And you can only lead other people to the same capacity that you can lead yourself. And this also goes for the interviewing process and trying to land good roles. You will only show up with confidence, make the sales manager or the business owner, whoever you're talking to, buy into you if you have that certainty, if you have conviction internally. If you lack that, you're going to struggle. It's going to be an uphill battle. So the way for you to actually apply this in your own life, start being extremely strict with holding your promises to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, you do that shit, no matter what. This is what really changed stuff for me. When I started even to the point where I would lower my goals. I would say I'm going to not wake up maybe at 5 a.m. every single day. I'm going to wake up a bit later, but set out goals I can actually stick to and never miss upon. When I started doing this stuff, that's when my life started changing. I started seeing quick success. And I started developing certainty. Not only certainty, but also conviction and less confidence overall in all areas of my life. Because I knew that when I set out something, I'm going to do something, I make that shit happen. And that makes you get into this kind of like almost like a killer mindset, where you're just like this person that goes out and gets whatever you want. You're not like sitting back and like when you say you're gonna do something, maybe it happens. You hold your word to yourself. That is so extremely powerful. So set out realistic goals. Instead of saying out like these extreme, like I'm gonna wake up at like 4 a.m. and you do that for a week and then you drop off. Set out realistic goals you can actually stick to. Okay? When you do this, you develop this conviction. Like over time, it compounds. When you're sticking and you're always doing the things you set out that you're gonna be doing, it compounds over time. You develop this conviction that shows up in your sales call, shows up in your interviews, shows up in just like who you are as a person. You will notice that all of a sudden you believe in yourself more. You have more self-belief, which is key on this journey. Because when you have self-belief, when you believe in yourself, you're gonna show up and take actions that most people are not gonna take to get bigger results. Self-belief is where achievement starts in the first place, but it all comes from you holding your promises to yourself and being a strong leader for you. Remember this quote: you can only lead other people to the same capacity that you can lead yourself. Become a leader for yourself. If you want to challenge someone, get someone to invest a big amount of money to change their life and actually invest into stepping out of their comfort zone and let's say learning a new high income skill or getting in shape finally and losing that weight or whatever the program that you're selling for an influencer is, you need to be the type of person that you want your prospect to be. You cannot show up to a call and ask someone to invest their last bit of money and like change their life and step out of their comfort zone if you have never done so yourself. It starts with you. That's why the best closers will always be the people that have stepped into the higher version of themselves, that act in alignment with the highest version of themselves, which means that they're holding promises to themselves, they're committed, and they have their life in check. And most importantly, they're not scared of stepping out of their comfort zone and facing fear. Hopefully this makes sense. If you want my help and my coaching to get into high ticket sales and learn the skill at the highest level from me directly, one-on-one, get placed into good companies, and get trained by me to actually succeed in this industry, you can apply for my coaching, see if you qualify, but we can call to download this video. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Ciao.